Oui, au chocolat. Si vous voulez donner des amants. Et les pizzas, c'est oui, mais les c'est pas
Okay, I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you. Yeah.
I think the Wi-Fi goes down.
Yeah, who knows what happens these days with electricity and everything else. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you, sir?
Good, thank you. All good. Happy to be here and to help you with your assignment.
Much appreciated, sir. I'm grateful for this.
Sure. So how can I help you? You sent through, is it just the 3 questions that you have?
Yes, sir. It's supposed to be a short interview.
Great. Great.
Yes. I'm just going to start with the question, that's okay?
Sure.
Awesome. Can you please tell us a little bit more about Famous Brands and what it does and how it came to be?
Okay, so Famous Brands Coffee Company is a subsidiary of Famous Brands Group, which is the largest food franchise operator on the continent, with some 3,600 outlets that include, the well-known Mug and Bean, Wimpy, Steers, Vovatello, and also restaurants like Turn and Tender, Salsa. They keep buying new ones, so it adds all the time. And we roast the coffee for the entire group and supply coffee into all of the well-known franchisees in South Africa, as well as some coffee that goes to neighboring countries. We were established in 2006 by myself and 2 fellow entrepreneurs. And we grew a company which Famous Brands acquired 60% of in 2012. So, yeah, we've become, as I mentioned, not a wholly owned, but a subsidiary of Famous Brands. And we do coffee beans, we do decaffeinated coffee, we do ground coffee. We also supply all the smoothie mixes, the powders, hot chocolates into the group. Yeah, that's our story. We're located in Centurion in Pretoria, and yeah, we supply countrywide.
That's super amazing. Wow, like one of Mug and Bean's coffee just always amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we try. I think the challenge as with everything, if you've got a few blends and many different people, you're not going to please all the people all the time. So, what we try and do is find a blend and manufacture a blend that appeals to most people, the 80-20 principle. And that's what we do. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Next question is, what is the Sustainable Giving Initiative about, and why do you donate to children organizations?
Yeah, so we want to have a social responsibility focus and a target. We feel business is a two-way street. People are buying your products, and the question is, well, what can you do to support society at the same time? And Famous Brands is very much it's a JSE listed company, so as the overarching holding company, they have a number of charitable initiatives on the go in giving back. And we thought internally as a company within the group, we'd also like to have our own focus and our own giving back. And it started to work with John Smith. He has a a blend which he worked with us on called Barney's Blend, and it's basically under his charitable trust, which he calls Barney's Army. And he, after he retired from rugby, he used his status, as one of the most successful rugby captains of all time for South Africa, to establish a trust, a foundation rather, and he supports a number of charitable causes, one of which is abused women and children. In I think mainly in KwaZulu-Natal under the Live Foundation. And what happened there was he donates, or we donate to him, a percentage of every bag sold. And then he obviously donates that onwards in its entirety to the charities that he supports. And we thought to ourselves, this is an interesting model, because in most charitable giving operations, you come to the end of your financial year and you say, fine, we made 100 Rand profit, let's donate 2.50 Rand to a charity. Or throughout the year, charities coming in and saying, we really, our dormitory burnt down and we need to build a new one. Can you give us, 2.50 Rand towards the rebuilding? And as a business, you want to help. And as I say, we do have a corporate giving focus. But the question then is, it's ad hoc. It's absolutely ad hoc. And again, it's also after the fact. So you're saying, if we make a profit this year, we will give, whatever, making it up, the 2.50 Rand. But what if you don't, and what if you make a whole lot more and you just forget to do your charitable giving? Then you lose the momentum. And so with John Smith's giving model, we thought to ourselves, this is quite nice, because essentially what is happening is you are donating for every bag that you sell. In other words, you are selling the product, and you're saying to yourself, well, for every bag we sell, we can give a percentage, and everyone wins. You only make the donation if you sold the bag, and assuming you're selling it at the right price, you should be making a profit. So it becomes a sustainable giving model by virtue of the fact that you only give when you sell. And if you can then use the brand and what the brand stands for, in his case, supporting rugby development in disadvantaged areas, supporting abused women and children, now you have a reason for people to buy that particular brand of coffee, over and above the fact that it's great coffee. But you're giving them a feel-good component in that, and they are effectively then directly contributing to the charity at the end. And so we didn't come up with Sustainable Giving Initiative. It was one of the charities that we deal with. And so to come back now to Save the Children, the Loba blends, there are 5 of them under the Loba brand. And we said to ourselves, we've got 5 blends, and we like this idea of sustainable giving model. So what we'll do is we'll identify 5 charities that we can assign a blend, each one of the blends to, and each one of those charities has their own blend. And for every bag sold, they get a percentage of the selling price. And so we came up with 5 charities. Why children? We looked at, what we would like to support And we felt, you know, without children in this world, the next generation obviously doesn't exist. And, you know, what we'd want to see is a strong generation of children coming up. And especially, you know, as we all know in our country, you know, children, women get the short end of the stick. You know, yeah, we don't treat our children and our women the way that they should be treated. And we wanted to make a difference. So we thought, let's pick children as our focal area. And then we said, well, what does that actually mean? You know, where do children need help? And so we came up with areas such as health. And so one of the blends is supporting the Children's Hospital Trust. What about terminal illnesses? You know, children that are really suffering from cancer. And we thought, well, let's, you know, pick up with the Childhood Cancer Foundation, CHOC. And we said, what else? And we came up with education. So that's where Education Africa came in. We want to help to improve the educational aspects. And then general welfare of children. We looked at SOS Children's Villages for children that, you know, are healthy, are receiving an education, but they may not have, you know, parents. They may be orphans, or they're in a position where they don't have adequate, you know, living conditions, and they could move into, you know, the facilities that SOS Children's Villages offer. And the final area that we looked at was children's rights. You know, advocacy, an organization that supports thinking about how we should treat our children and what is needed for our children to grow up in an environment that is supportive. And, you know, we identified Save the Children as an organization that specifically focuses on that area. I mean, they do a whole lot of other things, I know, but we thought advocacy for children's rights is just as important as education for children, you know, good, you know, upbringing, welfare, health. And that's why, you know, we selected them. We also selected them on the basis that, you know, they are reputable organizations. So key here for us in getting involved with these organizations is that they are reputable bodies. I mean, we cannot be associated with organizations that are you know, tainted by corruption or, you know, various other issues. And of course, they came back to us. Save the Children in particular came back to us and said, we're happy to get involved with this initiative, but we need to understand that you yourselves are not abusing children. And, you know, within the coffee industry, the abuse of children is rife. You know, farmers, you know, are using children to harvest the crops, to weed. You know, that there is considerable abuse in the coffee industry. And so we had to supply them with a certificate from our suppliers who buy coffee internationally, that the coffee is procured from, you know, operations and farmers that actually do not you know, utilize poor practices such as, you know, child labor in their harvesting operations or growing operations. So yeah, we chose organizations that had brand presence, of course, because from our perspective, being a commercial operation, it's a two-way street. We want to see the coffee sales increase in this particular brand, because obviously that helps us, but at the same time, you know, those organizations need to have a following themselves, where if it's advertised that there is this initiative, and by buying a particular blend of coffee, you are contributing to the programs that these particular organizations are running, then both sides win. And ultimately, the children are the winners.
That's very good, and I just love how there is like you as a donor, and also also the organization Save the Children have a two-way it's a two-way communication. You guys share the same values, and I read in your on your website that you guys want to ensure you have a responsibility to ensure that children are accepted, respected, and supported. How does Save the Children identify or relate to you? How did that come to be? Okay, I see that.
Sorry, can you just hold on a second? I don't know what's making the noise. Oh, they're drilling. Sorry, they're drilling on the other side. So I didn't catch that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. My question was
Yeah.
that since you as Famous Brands Coffee have a responsibility to ensure that children are accepted and respected and supported.
Yes.
And with regards to Save the Children, how they can identify with you on that. My question here is that just looking forward, where do you see yourselves going in this regard?
Well, I think a lot is going to depend on how the relationship pans out. From our perspective, what we want to see is an increase in coffee sales, which is somewhat facilitated by their promotion of the relationship. On our side as well, we're also promoting the fact that for every bag of coffee you buy, some of the money will go towards them. So, if we can increase the income into the organization, wonderful. That's first prize. And then the second part of the equation is, what are they doing with that money? Does it lead to, the organization supporting children, supporting the welfare of children, supporting the benefits to those children through advocacy, through their other programs. Doesn't have to just be through advocacy. I mean, we're supporting the organization as a whole. We're not looking for, did you take that money and what program did you spend it on? And did that lead, or what did that lead to? That's not what we're looking for here. It's really, that the funds are applied in a way that is consistent with what they say their mandate is. What we don't want, of course, is the money being spent on overseas trips, for the CEO of the organization. There has to be some tangible activity which they share with us, and they can say, listen, we raised, through this initiative, 50,000 Rand this year, and that money was applied in this program and that program, and this is what the outputs were. So if we can get that moving, fantastic. And I guess from their perspective, it comes back in the other direction, where they're going to say to us, we're promoting left, right, and center the sales of this product, but you're giving us R5.50 a year. This isn't really working for us. It's not really beneficial, and our cost benefit is not where it should be. And they might choose to exit the relationship as well. So yeah, like I said, it is a two-way street. But with all the organizations, they have programs which can meet our objectives of seeing children supported and respected and developed.
That's really awesome. And I also think that like it is very important as to you as a donor to see where your funds are headed to. So I think that's very important, and also very good as to how like you guys have a balance in this regard.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. I mean, when we looked at all of the charities, and of course there are a heck of a lot of charities in this country that need to be supported. You know, one of the things we did look at was you know, how good these organizations are in managing money and putting out audited statements, and the checks and balances in their financial systems to make sure, you know, that money can be managed and can go where it needs to go. I mean, some of the organizations, like the Children's Hospital Trust, not only do they publish their financials, but none of the donor money that is raised from corporates goes towards supporting any of the administration of the organization. It all goes directly into projects. Now, of course, that's not the same for all organizations, because in their particular case, they're very fortunate to have an overseas benefactor who covers the costs of the operation of the organization. So, you know, they can say, you know, if you were to donate 50 Rand to them tomorrow, they can with certainty say that 50 Rand is going to the Red Cross Children's Hospital, you know, burn unit or where it, and you know, they can track it. So, I mean, in the case of Save the Children, you know, impeccable, you know, financial management is in place. You know, the chances that there would be something naughty happening, you know, are it's very low. I mean, and probably, you know, there's no risk flag that's greater than any other organization that we would donate money to, you know. So that's a very important component, and because of that, it's not, you know, we're not worried that the money will be spent in ways that shouldn't be spent. We're quite trusting and believing that it'll go where it should go.
All right, that's really awesome. And yeah, that's the end of the interview. And I'm very
Yeah.
grateful for insightful as to how donors and organizations link up to create something bigger, and even like propel children as well, as they are the future.
Yeah.
And
No, it's great, you know, and if this is successful, I mean, what we're looking at, and I don't know why more organizations don't do it, but you know, it is a way to ensure that, you know, giving is more sustainable, and we'd certainly look, you know, to roll this out, or to discuss the rollout, you know, across more companies within the group. So this is really a pilot, and hopefully it's a success, and you know, we can show that models like this work.
yeah, that's
But you're
great.
welcome. Yeah, and you know, if there's any other questions you have, or you know, when you come to write it all up and you think, oh, I should have asked this, or I need clarity, feel completely free to drop me a mail. Happy to answer any of the questions.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
It's a pleasure, and good luck.
Thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye now.
Bye.